Wouldn't it be nice to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. And see, your troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Launch Out. And if we don't know you yet, we will. You know, I get to travel and speak to quite a few places. And this is one that I look forward to the most. So I have kind of an unofficial talk, and then I'll get into a little more official talk. But in my unofficial talk, I would like to extend where we started. I don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of days. From the beginnings, when Randy had this crazy, audacious idea in Tulsa 5 Club, and we had that first launch out 2 years ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma, not Sand Springs, we had an incredible time, but not knowing what was going to happen. We didn't know what was going to happen. No one did. Little did we know that we would go on this roller coaster of emotion, of laughter, tears, friendship, joy, sorrow. It was fascinating to me because I attended that first conference with a complete wrong idea. I attended it mostly as a professional conference, and there maybe were portions of that. But I had in mind, see, I'm very entrepreneurial. Ryan and I own a business together. And that was my mindset, and it is often my mindset when I attend a conference. So I really latch on to the how-tos, what-to-dos. But this conference took on a whole different scene for me. And then specifically last year in Nashville took another depth. So for you, I encourage you to just soak it in. If you are a first-timer, there may be moments where you go, what in the world is going on? There may be some times where people around you start laughing at something, and it's like, what in the world are you laughing at? This doesn't even make sense. But like all good inside jokes, you only get them if you stay around long enough. And if you jump in and try to participate. So I encourage you to jump in and participate, and let's have some inside jokes together. With that then, as I was asked to be a part of this year's conferences, I was very excited because I enjoyed it. I think Amy said that it may feel a little bit like a family reunion, and that's a great portion of it for me. But I do hope that we learn some how-tos. If you're an entrepreneur, if you have a dream, you want to do something, you're a dreamer or a builder or anything in between, then I hope that you take some how-tos. But more than that, I hope you leave inspired, encouraged, and wanting to do more, whatever that is for you. So when asked, and to kick off this one, I thought, you know, what would I like to talk about? So I've come up with these 3 laws of launching. And I thought about that, and when I'm thinking about launching and what we're all trying to do in one way or another, it's about motion and it's about movement. I was in Costa Rica in a jungle in a rainforest on a missions trip. It was a few years ago. They drove us 4 hours in this Lord-forsaken Jeep. I don't even know how we made it. At one point in the Jeep, it was 5 of us and the driver and all of our bags. At one point, he said, hey, I think everybody's going to have to get out so we can get up this hill. Okay, no problem. So we all get out. The dumb Americans got out, and we're all standing there watching the Jeep. It made it, and we were like, okay, great. And he's like, well, come on, let's go. Okay, so we walked up the hill, and we got in. We go 4 hours. Then when we get to the drop-off point, there was another 4 hours worth of walking. We walked 4 hours into the jungle, and we saw all sorts of things, all sorts of plants and creatures and snakes going across us, the path and all this kind of stuff. And we get to this point, there's this river, and they told us that we're going to have to cross the river. They said that normally it's no big deal, that some of the indigenous people will stand up ahead of us to help break the current. It's usually no more than ankle deep. But just to help us, then we walk across. Okay, no big deal. I'm ready for this. We get there. Coincidentally, the water is high. So we're standing on the edge of this raging river up at the top of a tree where they have a zip line suspended from this side to a teepee-like structure on the other side of the river. They had a tote sack with twine attached to a pulley system. And they asked us, each one said, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to put your backpack on your back. You're going to sit down in this tote sack, literally a flour sack with twine, baling twine, tied through this pulley. And you're going to sit there. And one of the men from the village that we're going to work with is going to stand behind you. He's going to put one foot on your left, and he's going to put one foot on your right here by your haunches, and he is going to pull you across. So we say, okay, great. We sit there, and we got in. I guess I was hyped up on adrenaline. I didn't ask any questions. I was just like, okay, let's do it. My wife sitting next to me was like, are we really going to do this? That was the question. Is this for real? And I was like, yeah, it's a mission trip. It's a mission trip. If we die, we'll go to heaven. All right, so let's go. I was like, it's like a guarantee at this point. So we set in, and we zip across. Sure enough, that's what we did. We get to the other side, climb up, and go down. We make it across. Everything's great. At the end of the week, we have to do the same thing, and we get back. When we got back to the other side, the missionary said, man, that was great. You guys were such a good team. Excellent work. I didn't want to tell you, but last week, one of the native people, actually, his line broke, and he fell in the river, broke his back, and died. We're like, oh, my dad, are you serious? That's crazy. My lesson that I learned from that is sometimes you just got to go. Sometimes you just got to do it. And the fewer the questions, the better. Just go. Just saddle up and go. Maybe say a little prayer if that's your beef, and you go. Because launching, if we're going to talk about the rules of launching, I think it coincides with the 3 laws of motion pretty well. Law number 1 of Newton's laws are basically, I'm going to give you the layman's versions because I'm no genius. I just know the common versions. The common version is basically any object in motion tends to stay in motion. Any object at rest tends to stay at rest, or the law of inertia. That's what launching is about. Objects in motion tend to stay in motion. This is one step of motion toward you. Don't stop after this. Let this be your kickoff. Let this be your beginning. Let this be the next step. Let this be wherever it is on your journey, but keep the forward motion happening. Don't idle. Don't back up. I love the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership and the law of momentum. When the ball is rolling, it is not the time to take a break. It is time to keep pushing because you've already got the hard stuff built. Being here may have been the hard thing for you. Maybe you had to raise money to be here. Maybe you had to sacrifice to be here. Maybe you had to deal with Southwest flights to get here. Whatever it is that you had to do to get here, you're here. So you've overcome that hurdle and keep going, because oftentimes people get stuck. People get stuck. Now, I grew up on a farm, and sometimes we got stuck. This one time I was about 12 years old, and I was driving an old beat-up truck with a trailer on the back. It had been raining a whole lot, and my dad told me to haul this bale of hay from one pasture to the other. My younger brother of 2 years was with me, and we're going through, and we are approaching a gate that is pretty narrow. Now, I know that the truck can make it through, but if you've ever been a 12-year-old driving a truck through a gate, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, especially when there's this big, big, big waller of mud that has been made inside the realm of the gate. So I'm approaching it, and I'm telling my brother, Josh, I said, okay. That's what I was telling him. And we're getting close. And I'm going there. My little 12-year-old mom was going, I don't know if I should speed up. I don't know if I should slow down. I don't know what to do. I'm just, okay. And I kept on going. We get about halfway through, and I feel it start to get stuck. And I'm like, oh, no, what's going to happen? I push the gas. We just dig deeper. I push it again. We just dig deeper. I got a flatbed trailer on the back, and we just dug deeper and deeper. So my brother and I were like, oh, man, we're going to have to tell Dad we're stuck. He's way at the end of the pasture. We got to tell him we're stuck. It's pouring down rain. I said, Josh, I got an idea. You go back there and push. And maybe we'll get unstuck. So like any good little brother, he says, okay. So he gets out, and I'm looking in my mirror, and he's standing between the truck and the trailer, ready to push. It's 100% safe. So far, so good. Nothing can go wrong in this scenario. So I say, all right, I'm gonna hit the gas. Boom, I hit the gas. And of course, I say the number one thing that all of us would say, push harder. Push, Josh, push harder. So I'm hitting the gas, nothing. I'm hitting the gas, nothing. I'm hitting the gas, nothing. I'm like, oh, I don't think this is gonna work. So I'm like, Josh, come back. I don't think it's gonna work. So Josh comes back around. He opens the truck, and I look over, and my little brother, from head to toe, all I see are eyeballs. He is covered in mud. We were stuck. As a matter of fact, we were just making it worse. You know, sometimes going somewhere is dangerous, but being stuck can be deadly. Sometimes I can put people around me or myself in a more dangerous position by being stuck than if I would just take the risk and go. So sometimes we get stuck. And we may be putting people around us, the people that we love, in danger, not even know it. We may be putting ourselves in danger. We may be unhealthy. We may have these bad cycles mentally that we don't even consciously realize, but because we're stuck, we just need some forward momentum to get going. We need to get unstuck. Very quickly, I think we get stuck in three ways specifically, especially with this incredible group of people. I think we can get stuck in education. Education is all of the geniuses and experts that are out there online that we have that we can look to. I am a firm believer in education. I believe in it. I think every single year, I would go on a yearly calendar. Every single year, I try to do something, either a conference, a course, or something that's going to help me grow personally and or professionally. And I think that you should do the same. But don't become addicted to education and not do anything. I would encourage you, if I could give you a very pragmatic thing, I would pick one thing, one course, one conference. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the one. Or maybe you have some other more specific discipline that you want to pursue. But pick one, go to that conference, and then don't go to anything else until you execute every takeaway from that event. And you say, I've done this part from this one. My lid is higher. My level of knowledge is deeper. I'm ready to move on. That's how you gain forward momentum. That's how you get unstuck. Because stuck is not education, 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 education. Stuck is education, 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 education. Forward momentum is education, action. Education, action. Education, action. So I encourage you, take those things. We can also get stuck in navigation. I love a good whiteboard, and I love a good mind map. A few years ago, I started and failed a business. It was an internet business called UB Tribe. If you'll ask me about it, I'll tell you what a glorious failure it was. I got stuck in navigation, where every single day I would get up and I would come up with great ideas. And the next day I'd get up and I'd come up with some more great ideas. And the next day I'd come up with more great ideas. I'd be like, man, this is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. This is how we're going to get people on the site. This is how we're going to do it. So I kept coming up with these ideas, but I got stuck in navigation. So all I had were these great ideas to get people, and I got nobody because I never took action on that. You see, you can get stuck in this. Teddy Roosevelt has a great quote that I love. I don't know that you're going to choose to do the right thing, but here's the quote. The best thing that you can do is make the right decision. The second best thing that you can do is make the wrong decision. And the worst thing that you can do is make no decision. Have your ideas, sketch it out, and then say, okay, I'm going to try this. And it could be wrong, but that's the second best thing I could do. And maybe you're right, and that's the best. The worst is to sit here and look at this again. I have notepads, and so do you, filled with great ideas. Don't get stuck in navigation. Finally, don't get stuck in isolation. And if I could encourage you with any point, it would be this one. Don't get stuck in isolation. If objects in motion tend to stay in motion, then I should hitch my wagon to somebody moving. There's a great book called Bringing Out the Best in People that has one of my favorites, got 13 steps to bring out the best in people. And along about number 6 or number 7, it's made by, I think it was written in the mid-'80s by Dr. McGinnis. One of my favorite points is if anyone is going anywhere close to where you're going, jump on their bandwagon. I don't know in which way you can be involved, but jump in and be a part of what they're doing. Be the biggest cheerleader they've got. Be the biggest supporter. I'm not saying that you have to be business partners, but I'm going to say from personal experience, having that man over there as a business partner has been the single most asset to my success to this point. I don't know who the people are in your life, but the second biggest secret to our success has been the people in orange shirts. People, 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 people. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck by yourself thinking this is the way to do it and this is all I got. Doesn't have to be. Don't get stuck in isolation. Just reach out and get to know some people. And so, from me to the people that are closest to me involved in this, I appreciate you. I love you. The longer I know you, the more I love you. Some of you I've known for a long time. I love you, I love you, I love you. You're okay. I love you, I love you. I love you guys. I love you. Cat, I mean it. Gosh, life's just better when you have people around you. And it's not about being an introvert or extrovert. Let me let you on a little secret. I'm an introvert. I thrive when I'm by myself, and I gain strength when I'm by myself. But when I'm around people, I find that that's where I can grow in ways that are brand new and better. So let me very quickly wrap this up. So that's just the first law. The second law is force equals mass times acceleration. I think that you can do just about anything you want to do. I think that you can do just about anything that you want to. Now, notice that I said just about anything. Because force equals mass times acceleration. I think the problem is not that you can't do something. I think the problem is that we get the mass and the acceleration out of proportion. In physics, what it tells us is basically if you're going to move something really fast, it's going to take a lot of force or a lot of power. In the same way, if you want to do something really big and you want to do it right away, it's going to take a whole lot of effort, more than you can probably give. That's where a lot of us fail, and we get stuck because we say, I'm taking the world over. Went to launch out, heard me an amazing Hamilton routine. Oh, I'm a dreamer. I'm bold. I'm ready. I'm eager. Oh, my goodness. Let's do this. I could preach on Sunday after this. We get all fired up, and then we say, I'm going to take on the world. And that's awesome. I hope you do. I hope you take the world. And you say, when are you going to do that? By next Monday. I know I've been talking about it for 5 years, but this time I'm inspired. So I encourage you, if you want to launch out successfully, think about what you want to accomplish. That's the mass. And be realistic about when you want to accomplish it. And if you do that, you will be successful. Don't try to do too much too quickly. That's usually rooted in pride. Don't try to do too much too quickly. Also, don't try to do too little too slowly. That's rooted in fear. And you're probably not giving yourself enough credit, and so you're stuck because you're moving at a snail's pace when I'm like, let's go. All you got to do is pick a website name. That's it. Pick it. Pick it. Let's do it. Just pick one. Don't get stuck on it. What if it's the wrong one? Refer to lesson number 1, please. You're going to go through a lot of websites. I've had a lot of really crappy website names. All right? All right? I can give you the whole list. But force equals mass times acceleration. When you can match your mass, what you want to accomplish, with the appropriate speed, you will find success, and you will find it holistically and in a healthy manner. You'll feel good about it. Like, okay, this is good. Maybe hard, but it's the right speed. Okay? Finally, the last one, that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Law number 3. Now, that means basically if the rocket is going to move forward because the thrust is backward, so, and I move like this. In the same way, then, don't forsake any action. If you take any action in the right direction, there will be equal and opposite reaction. We talk about leadership and success a lot, and I don't have the perfect example, but the more I get into this, my definition of success, at least for me personally, is forward motion. That's success. Are you moving in the right direction? Are you moving in the direction you want to go? So yes, maybe you have a really great day and something awesome happens. Boom, I booked that fantastic interview for the podcast. Woo, that's a big day. The next day, did I do something big? No, but I did something little, and that was great. So I'm still moving the right direction. Now, what happens when I do something and then I don't move in the right direction? It's probably because I'm enforcing or recruiting negative feedback. I'm going out and I'm doing an action that doesn't move me forward, but according to the law, I'm recruiting some negative opposition. So let me share very quickly Murr's rules for Facebook. Rule number 1. Talk less. Smile more. That's rule number 1. Talk less, smile more. Rule number 2. Rules for Facebook and how to launch out successfully, because you don't want to recruit negative attention. Every time that you spend in a negative comment thread is time that you're taking away from your success and anything that you want to do positively. Okay, so number 1, talk less, smile more. Okay, number 2, think before you type. Just think. Should I type this? Think. Would my mama want me to type this? Think. Would Thumper's mama want me to type this? And finally, lastly, and this is it, seriously, ask yourself, who is this helping? If your post is only helping your own ego, then don't post it. If your post is not helping anyone, then don't do it. Because what I see around that social media outlets today is just a lot of bickering that is not helping anyone. So, success is forward motion. I hope that through this conference you get inspired. Don't get expired. We don't want that. We don't want that. Get inspired, think about it. But success is usually pretty easy. You decide what you want to do and you take steps toward it. When you do that, you're a success in my opinion, my friend. Don't worry about how fast or how slow. because you'll make it in the end. I really appreciate you guys. You're a really good group. Thanks for letting me be here.